Hey, what's going on there, everybody? This is Sammy Leggett here representing Team JVS, here to give you guys another review straight from TIFF 2023. We had the honor of being able to go and check out the Toronto International Film Festival on site. We saw some amazing films. We've seen some amazing different things. And I wanted to talk about one of Hayao Miyazaki's latest films. I'm not going to say last, because there's been a report that he's still writing. He doesn't want to walk away completely. But I'm talking about The Boy and the Heron. So this centers around our character named Mahito. Mahito is a young man that very early on in the movie, he witnesses a very strong tragedy. And I don't know personally if it sculpted who he was from that point. I mean, I know it definitely had an impact, but I don't know kind of who he was before that moment happened. But unequivocally, like, they absolutely changed forever. And when, you know, they had to move and they had to kind of go, and their dad wants to kind of place them in a certain location, new school, and all this kind of stuff, it changes the trajectory of this man's life. And he meets this gray heron. And this heron, is obvious there's something else going on with it, but even the land where he goes around, it feels as though it's connected to his family. It feels like it's connected to some kind of magical force. And the moment that he sees this gray heron, the moment that this heron connects with him, it changes the whole entire story, and of course this man's life forever. I love this film. This was one of Hayao Miyazaki's best. And the crazy thing is, I remember going to the theater and seeing The Wind Rises and seeing how amazing the art is, and seeing, like, I was crying in the theaters for that movie. I mean, I remember seeing Ponyo. I mean, I've seen pretty much all of Hayao Miyazaki's films, but with this one, it's such a very interesting character progression for this young man, for us to watch, you know, him witness tragedy, him having to toughen his own skin, him having to reconcile his identity, him hide his emotions, him then, like, being emotionally compromised due to supernatural means. We showcasing his bravery, we showcasing his ability, we showcasing his ability to adapt, his need to become something otherworldly, and then also at the same time to be a man. Like, we get to witness all that in the craft of how they sculpt this film through the guise of multiple different worlds and universes and characters that you would normally see, like, normal household, like, animals. Like, if you see, like, you know, some geese or herons, or if you see, like, some parakeets, like, these normal household creatures are now something completely different. And it's just so fascinating to see how it kind of works. And then you got these small little grannies that are kind of like these caretakers, and they are brought into the mix of all this. But even more than that is his relationship with his mom. That's all I'm going to say without spoiling too much. His relationship with his mom, quote unquote, is very rough because it's not his mom. And it is something that he has to kind of try to reconcile. And at the same time, he has to maneuver around it. And it's so delicately handled because they go back and forth between present, past, and at the same exact time, other worlds. And they bleed all this together in Hayao Miyazaki's canvas, because this is one of the most beautifully detailed animes you're gonna see this year. There's been some amazing animations this year in general. And I mean, I still say that Across the Spider-Verse is one of the best animated films this year. I would say the Ninja Turtles TMNT is one of the best animated features this year. But The Boy and the Heron is one of the best anime features this year. It just is. I mean, even the first Slam Dunk was really great. But again, there's a difference here. This is all hand drawn, and it is, oof. there are certain techniques that I didn't think. I was like, man, Hayao, like, are you getting better? Because there's a water sequence that they do underwater that they transition to that with a later scene where they show kind of light elements that are kind of contrasting. And I was like, yo, how are they pulling this off? Shout out to G Kids. But I love the relationships between Mahito, the Heron, Mahito and his dad, Mahito and Hime, but specifically his relationship with Kiriko. It's such a very tender story, but it also gets very violent. Like, there's blood, there's violence, there's manipulation, there's death attempts, like there's assassination attempts, and then there's also some dark themed things that are happening. And I was like really surprised. This does not. Most of the Miyazaki films, like, you can kind of feel like, you know, some of it, you know, can be taken to kids with the latest ones that he's done. This goes back to old school Miyazaki, where this feels like, and this is an adult story. I think it's for anybody and everyone, but there's themes in this one that are so specific. And I'm not to say that Hayao Miyazaki's other films aren't like that, but when you see this, when you see the elemental side of what's really happening and how specific they're doing things with the characters, I, as an adult, like, I'm getting things from this, and I can only imagine kind of how a kid would kind of comprehend some of it. But this is a very, very good film. This is an A+ for me. This is one of the highest ranking ones that I've seen. I mean, only other one comes close so far that I've reviewed at this point is Origin, which we'll get into that another day. But this is one that you do not want to miss. Amazing, astonishing, great score, great transitions. Like, the imagery and the iconography is amazing. But again, the animation is from one of the best, one of the greatest. I'll talk to you guys soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace, people.